Whatever. All right. It's Caldera Lab, everybody. Great new skin product sponsor of the Virzi Effect. Clinically proven to reduce wrinkles, fine lines, and signs of aging. Caldera Lab is the leader in men's skincare and is here to save the day. Get 20% off with our code VIRZI. That's VIRZI at calderalab.com. That's 20% off at calderalab.com by using code VIRZI. Jump into skin and first impression royalty with Caldera Lab. Go to the link in the description, calderalab.com/Virzi for more. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Virzi Effect podcast show. My name is Paul Virzi, and you guys listening to episode 586. First of all, I want to thank all you guys for the comments and reviews. The show is moving up. We are gaining sponsors, and ever since we've been in here, it's like Ari Shafir called it the Virzi Full Effect, because now I guess I'm doing it right and not lazy. Today, I have another guest that you guys are loving the guests with the comments and all the stuff, so please keep that up. Please get the Virzi Effect everywhere you get your podcast, iTunes, Spotify, and keep those ratings coming. Today, I have another amazing guest making another appearance on the Virzi Effect. You know this man from his hilarious YouTube comedy specials. You know him from his late night appearances. I love the dude, and he's also one half of Tuesdays with Stories podcast with Mark Norman. Joe List is here.
Yes.
Thank you for being back.
Thanks for having me.
Last time you were on the Virzi Effect, people were like, yo, that flow was amazing. And I was like, I had to get Joe back on. But before we get into this,
yes, please.
We were talking off the air.
Before Mike rudely interrupted you.
Yeah. In-studio producer Mike, I was on a complete rant about the Barbie movie. Did you see the Barbie movie? You did not.
I have not seen. I saw Oppenheimer. I haven't seen Barbie.
Okay. Well, you saw what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
And apparently, I was gonna go see either Oppenheimer or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with my son and his best friend, and my daughter and wife were gonna go into Barbie, and the boys said, "No, let's all jump into Barbie." And
what do you think that was? They just wanted to be near the girls.
I think that
Margot?
they hear all the hype. I think that they hear all the hype, like they hear all the stuff. They see all the social media, so they kind of want to be, because they're like into sports. They're not that it matters, but like they're into sports, and my son's into fishing, and like listen, if my son was definitely like into dolls and shit, I would get it. But sure. I didn't think like he loves sports, he loves fishing, he loves his friend, like they're into like, and they were like, no, dude, we got to get into that Barbie shit. And I was like, all right, like I think it was the curiosity of stuff. Here's the deal, all right. And Joe was telling me some people that he heard were saying like, there's two different things with the Barbie movie. Me and my wife got into a little argument about it. I think it's good message for women.
Sure.
To say, hey, like, women are judged in a certain way and all that stuff. But it also just made the man look like a fucking... Is that what you heard?
That's what I've heard, yeah. Is that's just, it's very woke and annoying. Because I was telling Sarah, I want to see it, and I like to see movies. You want to have an opinion, but sure. Sarah's like, you're going to hate it. She's like, I've read things that make me know you're going to hate it.
Yeah, I mean, the first 10 minutes, I almost walked out of it. Then I kind of, like I was saying before, Will Ferrell has a cameo. There's some cameos of people like, all right, let me just see. Michael Cera has like a quick little like funny part, but like it just is like, you want to talk about demasculate? It is like men are fucking, men are stupid. They like when men take over, shit just goes dumb macho. It basically showed that there's a part, I don't want to give anything away, but there's a part where like the Kens kind of have their moment, and the shit they're doing is just dumb and ridiculous, and then the women take it over. But I will say this, America Ferrera, right, Mike? She played Ugly Betty. I think she played Ugly Betty. Yeah. She has a moment where she gives a speech to the Barbies.
Okay.
And she basically is saying, like, as a woman, we're judged on our looks, but don't be this, because then you're a slut. But then we're judged on what we do at our job, because if we have a good job, we're bossy and pretentious, but don't do... And she does say a lot of things that, having my 11-year-old daughter, Sophia, in there, I was glad she saw it, but I also don't want my daughter to shit on her boyfriends later and go, you're a fucking bitch.
Right, yeah, that's what's hard. You're like, can you just cut this and give her that? Like, be a good person, but men are also okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, how about the man kind of go out and work and do shit too?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah, it reminds me of DePaulo had that old joke where he goes, AOL, so easy dad can use it. Oh, the guy who fucking bought it? He had a bunch of jokes
that's
like
fucking
that.
great.
But I do want to see it. I love Margot Robbie. I like Ryan Gosling. I love Ryan Gosling. I'll throw it out there.
Margot
I love the
Robbie
guy.
fucking killed it.
Yeah,
like I'll
she's
say,
awesome.
like she had some scenes where you could tell, like during take, she had to like go through some emotional shit, and she crushed it. Ryan Gosling, I really do think, and if you watch it, I think Ryan Gosling held back on laughter during like scenes that were serious. It was hilarious how he was, you know, it was ridiculous. His outfit was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Do you know that it has the same director of photography as Oppenheimer, I believe?
Really?
He shot both movies, yeah.
Wow.
I believe. You'd have to give me a look up. He shot the, oh no, wait, maybe it's Killing of the Flower Moon. Maybe it's that.
Is that the one with?
That's the Scorsese.
That's the new Scorsese. Okay.
Yeah, which I thought was coming out because they premiered at some festival, and you're like, yes, let's go this weekend. Like it comes out in November of 2028, and I'm like, what?
So, no, does it?
No, I think it's October.
Yeah, but every time Scorsese, even The Irishman was like 4 years they were talking about it, and you got excited, and then it took forever. But speaking of taking kids to movies and kids, Joe List, you, my friend, are going to be a father.
Yes, soon. I'm terrified.
I can see in your face that you're freaked out about it.
Well, I'm excited. It's just, it's a lot. It's hard. You're trying to soak up the last couple months of freedom. And this is the main thing I keep talking about. Everyone talks about the sleep deprivation.
No.
You don't sleep. It's horrible.
No.
This morning, Sarah made an 8 a.m. appointment, and then we got there. It turns out it was 8:30, which I wanted to fucking shoot her in the face with a pistol. We got there at like 7:45. She's like, it's actually 8:30. So we just sit there for 45 minutes.
Shoot his pregnant wife.
Well, that's why I said not the stomach, the face. But anyways, I slept like good 6 hours. I'm exhausted. I'm like, I'm dying. And everyone's like, you got to sleep 80 minutes for the first 4 years. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to handle it.
Dude, here's one thing, dude. Stop listening to people. Yeah. And, I don't want to pat myself on the back here, but call me. Okay. I did it before I was one of the early ones to do it. Now I have friends with kids. They ask me. I always say this. 1 is 1. My friend told me this advice, Joe, and it was 100% true. 1 is 1, 2 is a million. And I laughed, and then he goes, no, Paul, look at me. It's my buddy who I went to high school with. He goes, 1 is 1, 2 is a million. When you have 1, there'll be an adjustment period. Both of you guys are comedians. Okay. Here's the thing. The baby's going to sleep. He's going to sleep like even when he wakes up, he's gonna go back to sleep. They are like dope heads for the first like 4 to 6 months, dude. They're up. She'll feed him. He'll go down for 2 hours. So you may some babies more than 2 hours, but you're gonna be okay. And then what's gonna happen is once he reaches a certain age, you guys are gonna have a schedule. When you have the second, that's when mayhem. That's when all hell breaks loose.
Right. I don't know if we'll have a second. She's 59 years old. I'm 61. I'm like, her hips will shatter if we have a second kid.
Yeah, her pelvis can't take it.
Yeah, this is a miracle. This was like a lab baby, and it's a whole thing. I mean, I don't think there's a second one coming, but who knows? But then all these people do this IVF shit, and then they have a second kid later because the mother's all juiced up, and then they fuck, and then they have another one.
Yeah, well, we were talking the other day. We were talking about Catherine Zeta-Jones and Michael Douglas. Catherine Zeta-Jones had a baby at 51, which, dude, the risk on that, she had a baby at 51, but I think, like you said, they can test now.
Yeah.
There's like a lot more things that they can do, I think.
We also suspect, because we did an egg donor, because Sarah's 95 years old and the eggs were just dust, but we did an egg donor, and I think a lot of these celebrities are doing egg donors and not saying anything. I have a suspicion, because we went to the fertility clinic, and they were like, she was 43 at the time, they're like, there's a 1% chance of you taking a baby to term at 43. Wow. So these people are 51, and they're like, it happens. And I'm like, what happens with like people that are worth $350 million?
I was going to say, it happens when you're a billionaire. You can kind of figure it out. Yeah. Now they could choose the sex, twins, right? Exactly. You could decide if you want twins or triplets.
No, totally. No, I have a left-handed pitcher. We put it in the thing. I wanted to be able to hold runners on first. And
no, you guys are gonna figure it out. Like a lot of it is just fear. A lot of it's people wanting to hear themselves talk. Get your sleep now. Yeah, dude. Giannis Pappas just had his second daughter, and I go, how's it? He goes, dude, she's sleeping for months. Like, yeah. So you're going to be like this idea of like, it's just all of a sudden mayhem and nobody's sleeping. It's not real.
Okay. That makes me feel good. Cause and also it's so different. Cause some of these people, they're like, your life is over. It's going to be horrible. And these are the same people. They're like, oh my God, I had a panic attack yesterday. I had to make breakfast, and you're like, you had a panic attack at breakfast, or whatever.
Yeah,
like stuff freaks them out that you're like, oh, I had that and it was fine.
And you'll write, and you're such a funny comedian, and the way you're able, and we've been doing comedy long enough where we can turn out hours, right? And material. You're gonna get things. You're gonna get another hour. Not even just like material on like being a dad and a kid. It almost like makes your life perspective. So you're gonna get bits that aren't even family related, just from the responsibility that you now have.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, like going to the doctors now is gonna be totally different when you see it, because you care so much about that person. I don't know if you're a hypochondriac with yourself, are you, or no?
A little bit. I'm better than I used to be. I used to be bad. Now I'm okay. But I have high blood pressure. I think I'm gonna die at all times. So I guess
You have high blood pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you eat like shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I just came from the gym. Last time I took it was pretty good.
Bobby and I do a podcast now. Shout out Bone to Pick, subscribe. But we were talking about you last night because we were talking about dancing, and he goes, "Dude, Joe List," and I go, he goes, "Joe List will fucking dance." And then I go, I remember you at a Caroline's Christmas party, and you're a fucking wedding dancer. Like, if you go to a wedding, you're on the dance floor a long time.
Yeah, the whole time I have to be out there.
Are you serious?
That's where I got the nickname Crazy Legs. Giannis gave it to me at Caroline's. They called me Crazy Legs. No, our wedding, Sarah and I's wedding. We did afterwards. They were like, "We've never seen a bride and groom dance this much. This is crazy."
That's what Bobby said last night, right? Bobby said that at Joe List's wedding, he said Joe was on the dance floor literally the entire night.
Yeah, never
Is that
stopped.
you always like?
Yeah, I was at that Norman's wedding. There's a photo somewhere from Norman's wedding. Like my shirt's all unbuttoned, just wet. Like my hair is all fucking matted.
Were you like that in high school? Like when you went to the prom and shit? That was you?
Yeah, no, I just go nuts. Yeah, I like.
So you're one of the.
Well, I'm a slave to the beat, baby. I like to move. Well, that's also a lot of times it's like socialize. You're with a group. You get stuck with somebody that sucks. And the music, you just start going. You're just out there. It's fun, and it's good cardio. That's how I'm
a slave to the beat. Now let me ask you: are you the type of dude that goes up to the DJ with a request?
I have been known to do that. Yeah, a few times. Which was funny because we had to, at my wedding, we were laughing. We're like, we had to, because my family just goes up there and they start requests. They played American Pie by Don McLean. It's just like a 7.5 hour like acoustic ballad. And we were laughing. We were like, anyone with a mustache and a Boston accent, don't take their request. I'm not even kidding. American Pie. It's like, bye, bye. And we're like, what are you doing?
How many times?
Get out of here. They did that.
It is a good, but listen, if you are, but here's the thing. In their defense, I will be honest with you. If you're hammered, and that's a great sing-along, dude.
I love it. I love the song. It's like one of my favorite songs. In fact, quick story. In 8th grade, I was telling my teacher, I know every word to that song, and he challenged me to write out the song hand to hand. And he's like, if you can get it within, like, I forget, 50 mistakes or something like that, I won free pen. It was like some he wouldn't do money, and I did it. Yeah, I was like obsessed with that song. But it's not a wedding song. We're all fucking
you want
dancing.
Yeah,
but anyways, it was like one of those things. You're like, anyone with a firefighter logo on their T-shirt, don't take a request from them.
Fucking hilarious.
But yeah,
do you come from a like a drinking blue collar family?
Oh yeah, big Irish, fucking Scottish,
booze hounds.
Yeah.
Okay. You got siblings?
I have one older sibling, but my mother has 4 siblings, and then they all have kids. So there's like, my family get-togethers are like 15, 20, 25 people always. I would always laugh at people being like, I got to go to Nebraska, I have a family reunion. I'm like, family reunion? We were together every Sunday, like literally every Sunday growing up. Still now, I moved away, but it's like there'd be 18, 25 people. And then everyone has their like, this is fucking Steve from the fire department, and this is Bobby. He's my homeless friend that I bring. Everyone brings in people.
Oh, so you never have like it's not like 8 people ever.
8 would be small for us.
Okay.
8's like a small get together.
Everybody gets along?
Sort of. It's more passive aggressive. There's little fights and stuff.
Right, but there's no like, I want nothing to do with that person.
No, everyone keeps getting together. It's more just like they leave and they're like, what a fucking scumbag that guy is. No one's ever like, he's not invited.
But right. You just have them there, and then when somebody leaves, you're like, I can't believe that he took that job, remarried that woman.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Quinzo. Colin had that great joke about like every time you drop someone off, you shit on them, and then it's your turn. They're like, all right, we'll see. He's like, I'm not getting out of this goddamn car. That's what it's like.
Oh, that's so perfect.
Which, by the way, not to go down like a mental health route, but like that's how like I have been like built. I assume as soon as I leave the room, everyone's like, "What a fucking piece of shit." It's because it's like so in me. That's the only thing I know.
Right.
So
you're
then,
just
like,
around that.
yeah, you get older and you're like, everybody hates me. Everyone's talking about me. I should kill myself.
Do you feel like, because I feel like this now, I feel like, and I think part of it is why we got into comedy, because I think all of us have a little insecurity, right? All of us have that shit.
Of course.
But do you feel like, I feel like as I get older now, I have kids, my kids are my main focus. All I want to do now is when I'm done performing or I'm done traveling, be with my kids. Take them fishing, take them golfing, take them to the movies, even Barbie, like all that shit, man, made me just really... I don't care as much anymore. And I think when you become a dad, and listen, this is just me, so I don't want to speak out of turn here, but something happens where you just don't care what people think. It's like before we got on the podcast today, we were talking about a clip that we did from Bone to Pick, where people are getting a little upset that we were shitting on people that dress up as Barbie going to the movies. And we were talking, we're like, yeah, that's good. Like, let people get, like, it used to be the younger comedian in me would be devastated if people were like, this joke sucks, fuck him, he's a fuck. I'd be like, no, but if you just get to know me.
Right, exactly.
If you really knew the person I was, I'm gonna now I'm like, fuck, now I actually, like, what did they say? What did Rogan say? Post and ghost?
Yeah.
Right, you just put it out there, and literally just once it's out there, there is no sense in scrolling anything.
Right.
Because you're gonna get a handful a bad if there's so many good.
Yeah, of course.
So, but I really stopped caring, and I actually stopped caring what people think, because I really think the people that judge, honestly, listen, it's always fun to joke and shit on a friend, but as a joke, right? As a joke. But like, if you get out of the car and they're like, dude, what the fuck is Joe doing? Fuck the blah blah. And they're doing that. That's like, now I'm able to go, oh, that's just a projection of them because Joe's got his shit together.
Right. Yeah. No. Exactly. And there's a great saying I hear all the time, like, how people feel about you is none of your business.
Yeah.
You're like, if people hate you, you're like, all right, that has nothing to do with me. That's for them to do.
Yeah, Louis did that to me when my Comedy Central special came out. I remember people telling me, they go, hey, there's going to be a little growth thing here now because more people are going to see you. So you're just gonna have to adjust to more people knowing you and more criticism. And I remember when my first special came out, 2018, which, thanks Comedy Central for playing it once and having a 6-year license that nobody could fucking see. Dude, it's one. I'm gonna get my Netflix special next year, which is 2 years before I get my 6-year license of the Comedy Central special.
I know, it's such a weird old model, and it's one of those things, like with everything, it changes, and you're like, what the hell were we doing that? That's crazy.
It's
like
so behind.
Yeah, it's like thinking about like smoking cigarettes in doctor's offices, where you're like, that was weird that we were doing that. It's the same as like you would do a special and it would air once at midnight and then be like, okay, well, on to the next thing.
It was, I mean, the fact that, I think they played it once on YouTube and once on TV. I mean, it's crazy. But anyway, I remember like somebody was like, yeah, he was funny until his Democratic propaganda. And I'm going like, first of all, I'm like, yeah, because I made fun of, it was 2016.
Yeah.
It was during the election.
Yes.
And I just did a joke about Trump being petty and he would tweet from heaven if he died. And people loved the joke. But the people that got, like, people on the right were like, yeah, this fucking lib, this and that. Like, they didn't understand that I was like, because I said Obama would like drone a city or drone a village, which he did, but then pick up a baby. And I go, that's how a president behaves. I was basically saying they do evil shit, but they cover it up. But people took it as he likes Obama and he's making fun of Trump tweeting. So those people went at me and it bothered me. It hurt me because it's my first thing out. Right. And I remember Louis was at the table at the cellar and he just goes, Paul, he goes, it's none of your business. He goes, why do you even care? It's none of your business. You really care about that. And then I was kind of like, oh yeah. But that's a learning curve, right? That's 2016. It's the first thing that came out in 18, whatever. But yeah, it's like, so I don't look at it anymore.
Yeah, no, and those people, it's ironic how triggered these people are that hate all the people that get triggered. It's like, they're like, look at all these people getting triggered over a joke, and then you're like, well, you're triggered over a joke. Everyone gets triggered by their own fucking thing. It's hilarious.
That is funny. It's completely hypocritical.
Yeah, I'm like, it's crazy how triggered you are. I had a joke one time, I tweeted on Election Day 2016, I wrote, Trump is such a narcissist, I bet he voted for himself. And then everyone's writing like, they all vote for themselves, you fucking idiot. I'm like, yeah, no, it's a joke. Of course he voted for himself, you nitwits.
Oh my God.
But that was like, every comment was like, what do you think he voted for Hillary, you fucking piece of shit? And I'm like, I'm kidding.
Isn't it horrible when it just like snowballs like that?
Yeah, and it just goes nuts. But it's good for the algorithm, I guess.
One thing that I said, the craziest thing that I've ever gotten as far as hate, to the point where I actually, and I'm upset with myself. I took it down after about a week. It got so crazy, and somebody started talking about when somebody talked about my kids, I took it down. My wife goes, you didn't need to take that down. Here's what I said on Twitter. I said, most of my atheist friends are full of shit because I see them on the airplane in turbulence through the sign of the cross, just in case. And dude, Joe, when I tell you the comments were in the thousands and thousands of, I was at my dad's bedside when he was dying of cancer. Not once did I look to your that's your Santa Claus in the sky. And I'm going, dude, like I was literally talking about if you don't believe in God and the plane starts going nuts, you may give a little just in case. And I mean, it got to the point where people were fucking talking about my kid. Yeah, Virzi, you just lost tickets to your next show. Dude, it got so fucking, I almost want to say, like, I feel like if I was in their presence, it would have got violent towards me.
Right.
It was the weirdest. Dude, I just said a joke like that, and it got about God. It got about people talking about, you're looking at an invisible man, this guy, fuck you, who don't ever tell me my dad was dying. And then when they started bringing up my family, dude, I was like, you know what? I'm taking this shit down.
Right.
But I will say, Joe, I was upset that I took it down afterwards.
Yeah, it's hard. I get it, though. When you start dealing with that, you're like, well, I just want this to end. This isn't fun anymore. Because that happens, you're like, I'm not having fun, so why don't I just put an end to this? And that's what sucks about these people is like, you've ruined the fun. You've taken the fun out. But obviously, like, that's a big thing people are triggered by. It's like abortion, Middle East, religion,
Trump.
Yeah, those are like the big, like, what? And it's all the same people. They're all upset about some other people being upset. Everyone thinks someone else is a snowflake, and you're like, well, this is quite snowflakey, frankly. I always just, if people do that, I just write back hashtag snowflake, because I know it bothers. They're like, oh, I'm not a snowflake. And you're like, well, you are for this.
Yeah, it's really weird, like the things that you can't really, and I'll be honest, for those reasons, what you just said, I can't believe I'm saying this about my city because it's one of my, I mean, I learned how to do comedy here. I got better here. I got on stage. All this New York City stand-up for me right now is, I think it's one of the worst. I think it's one of the worst places to do stand-up in the country, man. As far as like 90% of it, 80% of it is great. But dude, I've seen it. I've seen it at the Cellar. I've seen it at the Stand. I've seen it at places where like you'll get tables that just the arms cross and they're just like, because they heard a word. And it sucks because this city wasn't like that, man, before. Like I'm talking like 2 years before pandemic.
Right.
So like I'm talking like 5 years ago. I didn't feel like that. I went down. I felt like anything goes. And now I feel like it's worse.
Yeah. No, I've had that certainly at times. I feel like the Stand is okay usually, although I've had a couple there too where people are just like, "Bleh."
The Cellar's worse, right?
Yeah, I think the Cellar is worse.
Yeah, I think you
with,
got those
with PC stuff. I don't want to make it sound like
no. I think
I love the Cellar.
I think no. It's listen when it's packed. It's a great. Yeah, it's a great club. It's a great club, and it's packed out, and it's awesome. But I think you get a lot of, I think some of the younger people from Brooklyn come over.
Yes,
and they're fucking dressed up, and then they hear something, and it's like they're offended. I don't get that, and I'm not talking about going to like right wing places. Like people go, oh, Paul, go perform in Texas and Florida. No, you could go to Cleveland and it's cool.
Right.
Like you could go to these places and they're like, yeah, I know I paid to see somebody I like. I know their comedy and they're gonna say something maybe I don't like, but I know them. I trust them. I'm here for them. The New York, it's like you get up there and like I've seen like I said something to. I had these two lesbian women get up and just leave, and all I did, like literally all I did, was I talked about something that Biden had just done.
Yeah.
And they were like, as soon as you did, I was like, it's like I didn't talk about his policies. I didn't talk about anything. I was just making fun of what and they just couldn't. As soon as they got up and left.
Right. That's just.
Actually, I don't even know if that was in New York.
Those are just crazy people. I mean, sometimes you're just like, all right, well then you have mental problems. But like Brooklyn is like Brooklyn. I'm just like I can't even.
No, I don't perform in Brooklyn. No.
Brooklyn, I feel like I walk in, they're like, there he is.
Yeah.
The patriarchy, and I'm like,
you
sorry.
come in a Red Sox hat.
He's got a cock. Yeah, I'm like, sorry.
Your Irish skin and your Red Sox hat. They're like, oh, dude, this guy. Yeah, no, man, it's getting to the point where I'm just like, all right, like I think that's a great way to say what you just said. This is mental illness. It's mental illness.
Yeah. I think it's almost like culty, those people. But I do feel like they're relatively rare. You just notice them more when it happens. When you're like, oh, there's a whole table of people that just look livid because I said, douche or something. On the way here,
dude, walking here, because I couldn't park in the normal garage, so I parked 2 blocks away and I'm walking. And there was somebody walking down the street. And I honestly, I don't know if it was a man or a woman, right? And they were dressed in yellow sneakers, yellow socks, yellow shorts, a big yellow thing here.
I think I saw this person.
They had. Did you see it?
I think so.
They walked past you.
Yeah.
No, they walked past you.
Yes.
Yeah, they had the John Lennon circle yellow frames, and then the hair was yellow.
Yes, I saw
And I'm
that.
just going like, that person shouldn't vote. like that person, dude, I just looked at that person and I was like, yeah, they actually did walk by you because I saw where you were.
Yeah.
And you definitely saw that.
Yes,
but I
did.
saw it from like a distance and I really was able to take it in. And dude, it was yellow head to toe, including the hair dye, and not blonde. I mean yellow. And I'm going like, that person has a say in society.
Yeah. No, it looked like they were heading to like a WWF match, like as the Hogan's manager. It was like, let me tell you something.
What are you gonna do?
No, I mean, there's so many people that can vote that you're like, this is crazy. You got to be kidding me.
I think you need. That's actually a great point. I think there should be some sort of screening.
Yeah, an SAT kind of thing.
The same way I think there should be some screening to get a gun.
Yeah.
Some screening to get a gun.
Yeah.
I was doing this joke about like, even if the first line of defense
This is another one of those issues, by the way.
No, I was just gonna say like, since there's no like gun shit now, I said on stage, I was like, just pull them into a room and look at their outfit. Like, have that be the first.
That's really funny.
Just like look at the shoes, look at the shirt, and just be like, this is the first line of defense. But yeah, man, like there needs to be like somebody voting on policies. If you're mentally ill, dude, seriously, if you're mentally ill, like you really like, what makes that okay? Because that's a big deal, right?
Right.
You can't have a mentally insane person voting.
But I think, what is the percentage of voters that you would 8 minutes into a conversation be like, I got to get the hell out of here, or 30 seconds into a conversation, like, this is no good. I can't be around this person. That's got to be 90% of the people voting,
dude.
If you bumped into them and talked to them for 30 seconds, you'd be like, this person's completely out of their fucking mind.
I talked to somebody the other day, and I could say this on the show because I'm not going to use names here. I talked to somebody the other day, and like it started out on the same page, dude, and he just starts looking around. He goes, "You want to know the fucking thing?" He's like, "I know what he did was bad." And he just looked around and he goes, "Dude, fucking if Hitler was alive today," and as soon as he said that, dude, as soon as he said if Hitler was alive today, he's like, he was basically trying to say like he would negate all this. And I just, dude, I had to mentally, I just looked away. And I was just like, man, take care. Dude, it was just like, because there's nothing, once that starts, like once somebody takes it from like, yeah, dude, it's crazy what's going on. My kids are growing up in this craziness. And like, you could start just like, kind of just being like, but dude, once you start, like once a guy starts like looking around and he goes, listen, I know what he did was bad, but he wouldn't allow, and I was just going, dude, you're talking about a guy that tried like exterminating a race. Like, are you out of your fucking mind,
it's
dude?
tough to yes and that one. To be like, yeah, I know. It's like,
no, that's
and
when
also
you can't even go like, you just got to be like, so dude, at least the heat wave broke. Like,
right, yeah. Certain things you can be like, yeah, I know. Like I've talked to people that I like don't agree with, and they're saying stuff that you're like, I see what you mean there. You know, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But Hitler's a tough. I got to draw the line on killing Jews.
Anytime like a murderous dictator gets sympathy and in a conversation, you kind of got to tap out and be like, I could never hang with this person.
I mean, maybe if you're like, some of his paintings were all right. I'm like, okay, I haven't seen him myself, but I'm not familiar with his painting, but I know he did paint. I'm sure he was, very stylish, cool uniform.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird time. And would you and have you and Sarah talked about like when you're going to raise your son?
Oh God.
Are you trying to stay in the city? Are you trying to get a place in the suburbs? Are you going to are you thinking about going back to Massachusetts? Like,
no, I want to go to Jersey. I think I have her convinced. I'm not sure. It was tough sledding.
Okay.
I just, I wanted to get out of the city even without her. I feel like I hit 40 and I'm like, okay, I'm done tagging out. My niece is going to Pace University. She's moving in like a month. And I want to be like, okay, great. You're in. You're the family member that lives in New York now. You're in. I'm out.
Oh, cool.
It's just like a place. I'm just tired of the subway and the crazies and the loud and the honking and my car. I'm doing well enough to have a garage spot, which is best case scenario, but it's like 2 blocks from my house. So I have to walk, text a guy, some teenager. It's a different kid every time to go get my car. I got to walk a half a mile to get it. And it's like, I'll come back off a trip. I got to park and like carry my suitcase 300 yards, especially with a kid. It's like, if I want my kid in grass, I got to walk 3 blocks, take 2 flights up, take a train 3 stops,
No, you
and
can't.
walk.
You can't.
It's like I have a backyard, but it's like it's cement. I can't like put my kid down and he falls over and cracks his head open.
All right, everybody, it's Caldera Lab, the new sponsor of the Virzi Effect. Thrilled to be working with them. First impressions matter. There are no 2 ways around it. What's the first thing that somebody notices about you? In most cases, it's your face, and more importantly, your skin. If you aren't already, it's time to put your best face forward. How to do that? By adding in skincare routine. And you know what? It's not hard. You just don't have the right tools until now. Clinically proven to reduce wrinkles, fine lines, and signs of aging. Caldera Lab is the leader in men's skincare and is here to save the day. Go to carderalab.com/Virzi, V-I-R-Z-I, to enjoy 20% off their best products. Caldera Lab creates high-performance men's skin products, and the regimen leads off their product lineup, a twice-a-day routine to transform your skin. The skincare world is heavily female-driven and has long been wild, wild west for men. Whether men can't find the right brands or simply lack the knowledge and understanding of it, skincare is something that requires attention. Luckily, men's skincare has never been easier with Caldera Lab and regimen. Inside the bundle, you'll find your skincare dream team, the clean slate, the base layer, and the good. The clean slate starts and ends your day. The face wash leaves all skin types refreshed. The base layer is your daily moisturizer that highlights your skin and absorbs it fast, leaving you with the matted finish. It's like paint, guys. It's like paint on a wall, okay? Matted finish so you can start your day confidently. And the good is your go-to at night before bed and clinically proven multifunctional serum that helps your skin look tighter and smoother, as well as helps reduce visibility of wrinkles and fine lines. In every drop, this serum, there are 3.4 million antioxidant units protecting your skin. Want to know what that means? Because I do. Yeah, that's a lot. Well, I have no clue. But it must be good, though, right? They even have the eye serum called the Icon. It addresses the 3 most common skin concerns around the eye: fine lines, dark circles, and puffiness. Caldera Lab is made with top-tier ingredients and is a great addition to your daily routine. Takes less than a minute every morning and night, and here to reduce wrinkles, fine lines, and signs of aging. Guys, I love the product. It makes my skin feel good, smooth, and my wife loves it as well, and she loves when I have it. So all you guys have to do right now is you go to carderalab.com for 20% off, and make sure you use bonus code Virzi. That's V-I-R-Z-I. That's 20% off carderalab.com by using Virzi. Okay? Jump into skin and first impression royalty with Caldera Lab. Go to the link in the description, carderalab.com/Virzi for more. No. And we brought you up the other day because we were talking, and I was like, people need to stop. People, listen, I'm not saying live in fear, and I'm not saying, catastrophize everything about living in the city with the trains. But like, I'm talking to multiple people. Bobby said he almost got stabbed. I know that you said you were mugged coming home. I remember you telling me that you had to cross the street because people followed you. I talked to somebody else who got spit on and punched in the face in the subway. It's like, stop saying. So it doesn't happen to Mike because Mike's like 6'4".
You're speaking my language now.
But like, no. What I don't like is people trying to act like, oh, New York. No.
Yes.
New York. I'm from here. I lived here sometimes. I lived in Queens for a while. I know when New York felt like going on the subway was safe, and now I will not do it, dude.
Right.
And so it's just like when people are like, oh no, don't. It's like, let me ask you something. Somebody you love? I was thinking today, was like, my daughter's 11, okay? If my daughter graduated college and she goes, Dad, I got a job at this marketing place in New York City and I'm going to be living in a studio alone. The thought of my little girl going on a subway in New York City can't fucking happen.
Yeah.
And it's like when you have a family, I think you think about it more. It's just you going to a spot. You're like, oh, fuck it,
Right.
You probably had a couple drinks
Yeah.
or whatever,
That's how I feel. I'm like, I'm just like clocking everybody all the time. And it's not like crazy dangerous. It's not like the Warriors. But like, there's an incident every once in a while, and you're like, I don't want to have a baby and be like, let me am I fighting this guy? Am I running from this guy? You know,
Dude, with your son, it's like it's crazy.
Yeah, so I want to move to like Jersey Shore area.
Plus, Joe, you got a little scratch. You're a rich kid.
Yeah, I got some.
You
dough
know, you
now.
got some money now. You know, you got to get the fuck out.
A little bit, doing all right, folks. Check out that new special.
Yeah, let's talk about that, man. Let's talk about. It's always a great time with you because we're more than half. I mean, this is. You're doing a new YouTube.
Yeah, August 18th. I don't know when this comes out. Maybe it's already out.
No, this comes out. So this will be out in probably a week. This will be out in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So your special will be out.
Yeah. All right. It'll be out. So it's on YouTube right now. Hit pause. We'll wait. Come on, go watch the special.
What's the special called?
It's called Enough for Everybody, and it's on YouTube. It premieres Friday, August 18th, so maybe it's out already. And it's my third one in like 3 years.
I was gonna say you're putting out a special a year.
Ish, yeah. So I guess around that, my first one came out in during the pandemic, like August of 2021 or 2020, I guess that was. So maybe it's And then I had one to come out last year, so it's the third since August of 2020. 3 years.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, you're putting in the work. You're out there. You're getting. And I'm a big believer in like get it out when it's still fresh in your mind. Like I'm ready now, right? Like I'm ready now.
Yeah.
So my Netflix special came out last June, so it's about a year old. But I was working months before because when I went on the road, I didn't want to do the same material.
That's how I do it.
I can't do the same material. So I'm ready now. I'm going on the road. It's better than my Netflix special. Everybody says so, and I love my Netflix special, but this one is better. And I'm like, I'm gonna just put it out. I'm gonna have two simultaneously. I'm gonna have one on Netflix and just put one out because I'm ready. And I don't want to go into it. You ever go into a joke where like you're just like, I love it, it's good, but like I'm done.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
It's like, because I'm like, to me, it's not like I'm not trying to like prove something or put a special out a year or I'm doing this thing. It's just you're on the road all the time. You have spots, whatever you're working, and you're like, I got to do some new. I can't do the same joke. I'm tired of these jokes. And eventually, I have like 75 minutes, and I'm like, I'm getting it all jumbled. Let me record this 60 and start with this new 15. To me, that's how I feel. Is that like you're like, I have an hour that's pretty good. Let me record that, put it out, and I'll just keep moving.
Yeah, the only scary part is when it's out and now you just got to go and bomb, right, with news. Like I'm talking like that clean slate.
Yes, no, it's hard.
It's
I was just talking to Shane and Norman. We're all in the same position where it's like Norman's is out now and he's got like 20 minutes. He's like, oh, I got new that sucks. And I'm like, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
I think I have like 15 that I'm like, this is real. That's working. And then I got like 20 that I'm like, is this anything? Like that kind of shit. But what's hard is those guys are now in like big theaters selling big money.
Yeah.
I'm selling some tickets.
Yeah.
But I have fans that I'm like, hey, this is a club. You paid $20. Is this funny? It's hard when you're at the fucking Paramount Theater in Lights. And you're like, is this anything?
Yeah, no, I know. I'm going to be in that situation probably because I want my new one to come out the top of the year. And I'm trying to stockpile some stuff.
Right,
You know, just to have like a little bit of a batch of new shit. But yeah, and I don't like giving like, when you first go out after the special comes out, it's not as good.
Right,
like it's good, but you're like, oh, that's fun. But then all of a sudden you're like, I want to come back in 3 months because it just got better.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I just had that feeling and I'm like, maybe I can stretch this to do the whole show without doing anything on the special, even though it's not even out yet. And then at like the 30-minute mark, I'm like, no, I can't. I got to get back into that shit. I forgot to put my phone on silent. I can just hear it buzzing.
No worries. I don't understand how these guys, you know, it's funny when somebody's like, yeah, dude, that guy's been doing the same act for 25 years and hasn't changed a word. It's almost like.
That's how I'm like, are you just tired of telling the joke?
Yeah, it's almost like, it's like, you ever think, we saw Billy Joel. We went to see Billy Joel. My wife's friend wanted to go for her 40th. And we went to see Billy Joel at the Garden. And don't get me wrong, it was good. But like, doesn't he, like when he goes into Piano Man or when he goes into like one of those songs that's just, do you think he's fucking nauseous?
I don't know. There's got to be some part because he stopped writing pop songs altogether years ago. He does like classical music.
Yeah.
But I think he's like, I hop on a helicopter, I fly into the garden, I land on the roof, I fucking rappel down, sing the songs for an hour, and then head back. So
yeah, like if he goes in, like, what is it? Like Was that Mike?
No, I think yes is the answer.
Yeah, like if
I
he goes
listened
into
to
like
it-
We Didn't Start the Fire or fucking Piano Man and he's done, it's gotta be like as he's going through it, there's gotta be some autopilot in his mind where he's like, dude, I'll be back in the water fucking tonight with fucking.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I saw an interview with the lead singer of Counting Crows, and he was
Adam
saying,
Duritz.
Yes, he says that every song from previous albums, looking at me, just know when you're looking at me, I'm fucking miserable, except for Long December.
Oh,
He goes,
wow.
that song, he goes, for whatever reason, I just enjoy the shit out of that, but most of the songs I'm
but
like,
that's really not smart of him
you
to
know?
say.
I know.
Because like I don't want to pay the ticket to see Counting Crows now.
Well, they were up near where we were not too long ago, like 3-4 weeks ago, and a lot of the people left within like 4 songs. They're like, this
Wow.
is really bad.
He's rolling his eyes.
Yeah.
As he
Yeah,
goes into it.
dude, I saw Ryan Adams, not Brian Adams, the Canadian rock and roll
Dude,
singer
I
who
want
rules.
to. I want to see Brian Adams. He's on tour now.
Oh, really?
Dude,
Oh, I love Bryan Adams.
Dude, fucking, let's go to a Brian. I would go to a Brian Adams concert.
Absolutely.
How great is
And it
that,
cuts
dude?
like a knife. Yeah, he's fucking
Summer
killer.
of '60.
Yeah, he rules. But I saw Ryan Adams.
That's his brother.
No, Brian Ryan and Diane. He was playing, and he's a great singer songwriter guy, and I think he uses comics to open. I think he's a comedy fan. But I saw him one time in Central Park, and he was playing, and he kept commenting on how the crowd kind of sucked, and was like, this crowd, and it gave me a window into. Like watching a comedian who keeps being like, that bombed, this sucks, you guys stink. Because every time he said it, I'm like, well, I feel like I'm a good crowd. I want to be good.
Yeah.
And then he sang this, he has a song called Carolina. What's this song? Oh, my sweet Caroline. Anyways, he was like, I wrote this song. I'd never actually been to Carolina at the time. I just thought it sounded good. And it like bummed me out. I'm like, well, don't tell me that.
Oh, that's so funny.
I was like, I thought you loved Carolina. He's like, I made it up, whatever. And you're like, fucking don't say that.
Dude, do you remember? That's so funny. Do you remember Sal's Comedy Hole?
No, I don't think I ever did
Okay,
that.
so Sal's Comedy Hole. You know, I used to do it a lot with Nate Borgazzi. It was like, I guess it was like that era's like Grizzly Pear. Like this is when you're a newer comic,
Yeah.
and you're kind of like you're not at the Cellar. You're doing spots at either like the Village Lantern or this place Sal's Comedy Hole. It was in the back of a restaurant.
Oh, did that become CB's? That place? Like on McDougal?
No. This was actually closer to the Cellar than CB's was on the corner.
Right. Okay.
No, this was like where Grizzly Pear is. Grizzly Pear, right? Whatever. So anyway,
Okay.
we would go there, and one time like he would put me up, Sal, right? And it just reminded me when you said like you were saying things he didn't like. He goes, dude, there's 2 people in here. There's 2 people. Do you want to do it? So like I did it, and they didn't speak good English. So when I would ask him a question, the guy just goes, why are you picking on? Should we leave? And I'm like, no, because if they left, there's no show, dude. So I was like, but I did. So I'm just going, dude. So you guys together? Like how long? And he was just like, why are you doing jokes? And like I almost walked the only 2.
That's
but it's
great.
like but I didn't know better. But it just reminded me like when the guy is saying things that you didn't like. That guy Ryan
Adams.
You know, Adams was saying things. You're like, why are you saying that?
That's how I felt. I was like, well, I don't know. And then as a audience, you're like, well, how do we... Like when he starts the next song, should I be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how to represent a good audience. Plus, it's like you're playing like ballads.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm like sitting and reflecting.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do, but evidently it was a bad crowd. But it was, I did remember watching, being like, I shouldn't be mindful of being like, this crowd sucks. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're like, well, we're the best. Jake Johansson said that to somebody, and then they told me, is like comedians, we tend to judge an audience based on the best the material's ever done. Like the best set you've ever had, you're like,
Right.
this should be killing. But it's like, this might be the best they're able to give you. This is a different group of people. It's a different night. It's a different time.
It is. It's like a weird thing how each crowd has a different personality.
Yeah. And you're like, why aren't you laughing as hard as this other crowd 3 months ago in San Jose? And they're like, I don't know those people. Like, I don't know. I'm laughing. This is how I laugh.
Yeah. Fuck, I was just thinking about something I was going to say about the concerts. Because you said Counting Crows, and then I was thinking of another band that I wanted to see. But yeah, I just feel like it's got to be tough to just do the same shit and just be like, because you almost feel like they're taking your money, but at the same time, they want to hear it. See, that's the difference.
Yeah.
Like comedy fans don't want to hear... they don't really want. I mean, sometimes you'll get a request like, hey, dude, can you do this? Like, I was actually at a con. Somebody goes, we came here because the Comedy Central special, that St. Peter joke. Can you do it? And I said, ma'am, I don't know it anymore.
That's how I feel.
I said, I don't know it anymore. She goes, can you just try? So no, I was in Michigan, Grand Rapids, and I tried to do it, and I probably did it 70-80% of what it was, and they go, thank you. But like, when you go see a show, nobody's gonna go, hey, did I just saw your Netflix special? It's kind of lame. He just did his Netflix special.
Right.
I don't want to see that. Like, I would never do that. But you want to go here, fucking dude. If you went to Billy Joel and he didn't do Piano Man, you'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you don't want him to do stuff. There was a great Simpsons joke one time. I think it was Jackson Brown. He goes, all right, I'm going to play a new song. And everyone goes, boo. And he goes, just kidding. It's so funny. And Paul McCartney does a thing. I saw McCartney. He does a fun thing where he wants to play his new shit. So he has the lyrics scroll behind him on a big screen. And he's like, this way, you guys can sing along. You don't know this. You don't give a fuck about this song. But you can sing along to it with like all the other songs.
That's actually smart.
And that's pretty smart because it's like, and you kind of go, oh, I saw, and you can be like, okay, we can all pretend we know that care about this song.
Yeah, that's actually really smart because then people are like, oh, I'm part of this show instead of, well, Bobby brought that up. He went to Metallica and he said, like, you can't stand for every song. His whole thing was like, don't stand for every song. There are times to sit. It's usually when they do their new shit.
It's so funny. It's hard though with metal. I bet you get older and the audience gets older. It is. I'm like, I went to see Springsteen, who's like my
How was that?
guy. Oh, it was awesome. I'm a huge Springsteen guy. But it was one of those things, it's like you get, everyone's old. He's 73, so the audience is older. So everyone's like, all right, great, ballad, let's sit down. Whereas like when you're a kid at a rock show, you're not like, let's sit down for a little bit.
What is it about Springsteen that makes people, because I know people that have gone 22 times. There's people that have like traveled with him.
Sure.
Like they go like, what is it just from when you were a kid or has it happened as you became an adult?
I mean, I've been a huge fan since I was a kid. I've seen him a bunch. I'm like that with Pearl Jam too. I've seen them like 44 times.
I love Pearl Jam.
But Pearl
underrated,
Jam,
by the way, I think.
I agree. And yeah, I've been to almost 50 shows. I mean, it's crazy. But I think Springsteen and Pearl Jam are very similar. They play very long shows, big show, and they change their set list a lot. And they're like epic live acts. They play big, long, crazy shows. A lot of artists play there. This is our 75-minute set. We come out, we do these 15 songs. We play 13 songs. We leave, we come back, we play 2, and you're out of here in an hour 15. So you're like, I've seen them. I get it. Yeah. But these guys, they write a new set list every night. They change it up. They do fun covers. They do rarities. And it's just I don't know, it's just a feeling.
What are your favorite bands? Who do you like?
Pearl Jam, Springsteen, Tom Petty, big Tom Petty guy.
Tom Petty's great.
I like a lot of like the Ramones, the Clash. I'm a big Clash guy, but I also love Dylan and the Pogues. I like a lot of singer-songwriter-y type people.
You like you know who I want to see? I didn't get to see yet. And it sucks. Rest his soul. The drummer died, but I want to see Foo Fighters.
Oh yeah, I've seen Foo Fighters.
You know who I saw at the Garden right before pandemic was the Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh yeah, I've seen them a few times.
They were that like because I heard they sounded horrible in the '90s. They said his voice was way too high. They said it was like too high in the microphone, and they were like, dude, he's like, people were like, what is this? And then now they obviously like he came out at the Garden, dude, and they fucking crushed.
I haven't seen them in a while. I saw them at at Barclays in like 2011 or something like that, and I saw them in '96. That was one of my first shows, my second show ever. I saw him at the Worcester Centrum.
Dude, he came out and like they do this thing. I don't know if it was like that when you went in 11, but like right before pandemic, they did this thing where like the stage was black, and then all of a sudden the door opens and it's just a white light, and everyone starts going nuts, and then it gets a little bigger, and then you just see Billy Corgan's. You just see his silhouette holding a guitar. Dude, he stepped out, and the place goes ape shit, and he's just looking around. He's looking around. He's quiet, and then he just went into Disarm.
Oh, that's great.
And dude, my little brother like almost started tearing.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Dude, he came out and he went into it, but the way he brought it out, I was like, you know what? Because I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big concert guy. Yeah. But then when you go and it hits you, you're like, this is fucking nuts.
No, it's the best. I'm a big concert guy. I fucking love it. It's like those moments you're like, you turn into like a kid. You're like, woo! You feel like a little girl, and I mean, I love it. But it is like a thing. I get old. Oh, the Stones are like my second or third favorite band. probably third. I've seen them a few times. But as you get older now, and like my back hurts and shit, I'll like try to rock out in a way where I'm stretching. I'm like, I'm like doing that calisthenics.
My back is blown out now. I'm in rough shape.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been in pain for about 5 days. I almost had to be carried off a golf course, and I couldn't walk the next day.
Oh, Jesus.
Last week, yeah, dude. Like I was in here, I was like, it's fucked up.
Is it muscle or is it like
it's all tight. I don't know. It's going down to my, it's going into my thighs. It's brutal, man. Sometimes I go through like 2 of them or 3 of them a year where it just goes out and I'm laid up, dude. I'm you're in your 40s, right?
Yeah, 41.
Yeah. It's once you hit 40, man.
I'm terrified. The blood pressure in the back.
Do you golf?
I golf, but not as much as I'd like because I'm just in the city or on the road.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I golf like 3 times a year, but I love it.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
It's
You're a big sports
hard.
guy, man.
I am, yeah.
I always see your tweets about your big Boston across the board, right?
Yeah, but I try to go to a lot of stuff and U.S. Open. I can't wait. I'm a big tennis guy.
Yeah.
I go to Mets games, wherever I can. On the road, I try to go.
Yeah.
Sport.
Do you ever book gigs through your agent based on sporting events?
Yeah, like I go for the Red Sox Patriots Day in the Marathon every year. My agent knows me now, which is great. He's like, I booked you the April 15th, so you can go to the marathon. I'm like, you're the best person. I just want to kiss him on the lips. I love it. But yeah, and I went to the Pac-12 tournament, which the Pac-12 is just fucking dunzo now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
There's 4 teams left.
Yeah,
I think you and I could join the Pac-12 if we wanted to.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's bananas.
Why
it's
is
really
that?
sad. I don't know. I guess it's all money grab. I mean, I don't know how you're a college football guy, right?
I like college football. I mean, I'm definitely more NFL.
But like UCLA and USC are in the Big Ten, and
Yeah,
so
it's
is
weird.
Washington and Oregon. It's like the wackiest thing.
Who is your team?
I don't really have a team. That's
Yeah,
why I like college sports. I'm like, I just enjoy it.
Growing up in New York or Massachusetts here, we don't have that like SEC thing. You know what I mean? Like if you're in South Carolina, you either have Clemson,
Right.
Louisiana, LSU is so big, Alabama. Where we are, it was like Rutgers and Syracuse.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
There's not too much here.
We had as a kid, BC was still good. It's such an academic school, but like they beat Notre Dame one year, I think 93 or something like that. They beat Notre Dame was #1. That was exciting. And we played Michigan every year for a while, and BC. And Notre Dame, but yeah, I still like root for BC, but I'm not like I gotta watch the BC game. I check my phone and go, oh, they're 8-5.
Yeah,
Great.
no, that's the same thing. Lou Carnesecca, the great Lou Carnesecca, who coached St. John's, but he coached St. John's when St. John's had Chris Mullen, Mark Jackson. But he said something. He goes, all these New York kids, they didn't stay loyal to New York. And that's a really harsh thing to say because, like, you get a kid out of the city and you bring him to the campus of UCLA and he fucking grew up in Harlem. He's probably going to be like, I could use the sun and, maybe beautiful people at the beach surfing. But, like, nobody stayed in New York. Like, if they stayed in Queens, Ron Artest did, Meta World Peace. He went, I think he went there for a little, but, like, New York didn't have, like, St. John's should have been fucking New York legends that stayed and won, but they were just like, you can't, like you said, what's his name was from there? He was Lou Alcindor at the time, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he visited John Wooden and UCLA, and he's like, I'm gone.
That's why I think I have two things real quick. That's why I think Jim Boeheim, I was like, this guy is the greatest coach of any kind ever. The idea that guy is getting athletes to come to Syracuse, New York.
Yes.
That is the worst place on earth. No offense. Buy my tickets when I come to the Funny Bone. I've never been to a worse city. It's fucking freezing. There's nothing there. Shit. That fact that he's convincing people to be like, come live here for 4 years is unbelievable.
It's one of the most disgusting places. It's the dumbest comedy crowds. The Funny Bone sucks. Listen, I don't give a fuck, dude. Here's the deal. I was at the Funny Bone a couple times. No, it's just a shitty place, shitty people. They're just dumb. They're dumb. But
this is the best.
So I saw Kelsey Cook at the stand. And we were just talking, and I go, so what you got coming up? And she goes, Syracuse. And I said, I swear to God, I go, Kelsey, do me a favor. I said, I saw your shit online. I said, don't play foosball with people in Syracuse. I said, don't go to a bar. And I said, and if you go to a bar to do your hustle or whatever, I said, she'll tell you this, dude. I said, bring the feature or host or somebody that could be there with you and watch your back. And she goes, no, I know. She goes, thank you. I go, it's an absolute shithole. I go, other than the college campus, which the college campus is beautiful. The radio people were great. I had some amazing food. There's a burger place there that's famous. Great. But other than that, I go, be careful, dude. She texted me when she was there. She goes, "Oh my God, you were right." She goes, "I'm in the green room, locked in the green room right now. There's an active shooter in the mall."
I remember that.
And then I found out that there was a shooter in January, February, and March. And I'm just going like, I'm done, dude.
Yeah, no, you have to be 18 or older now to get into the mall. They it's like a nightclub.
Well, the thing is, it's their only thing.
Yeah.
It's their only
destiny. Yeah.
It's their only fucking thing, dude. Somebody said they were at a strip club there and they saw the chick get off stage, and right when she got off stage, she went to the bar and just started fucking hammering wings. Like she fucking walked off the stage and she just started eating buffalo wings.
I love that.
Like right from the it's like one of the most disgusting places ever.
Yeah, it's not great. So Boeheim, great work. I think he retired. He probably was like, I finally can't get people to come up here anymore. But
that's actually a good point.
I mean, here's one of my favorite talking points that I'd love to present to you.
Yeah, of course.
If I could play host for a moment. You're the #1 high school basketball recruit. You score 37 points a game in high school. Every school wants you. Where are you going?
I'm a #1 recruit.
You're the best.
Every school, any sport.
I'm saying basketball, but we can do different.
If it's basketball, dude, man, that's tough.
Isn't this fun? Because I love having this conversation with people, because like sometimes you're like, UCLA is fucking legendary, but then you're like, but you're in LA, even though it's a great campus. Like maybe you want to go to Lawrence to be like the king of town.
No, I would stay. I mean, the first 3 I thought about. If I'm the #1 guy in the country and I can go anywhere, Coach K not being there changes Duke for me, because if Coach K was at Duke, that could be something just to have played under him, to just tell your grandkids that you play. You know what I mean?
But Cameron Indoor is a fun place to have your home games.
Well, I'll tell you this, Joe, and this is 100%. I've been to World Series games.
Yeah.
I've been to playoff games. I've been to finals games. I've been to the Masters. I've been to so many amazing things. There is nothing better that we ever went to in my life than Cameron Indoor, Duke versus North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
I have never ever in my life seen not only the student body, but the people that fly from all over the country to go to this gym that holds 9,000.
Yeah.
So you feel like you're in a big high school gym. Everybody stands the whole time. They wait. Then Coach K comes out. People lose their shit. Dude, it was JJ Redick was sitting near us. You see David Robinson, the admiral was there because his son was. It was one of the sickest things. They came back and they came back and won by 8, Duke. But seeing that environment, if I could play for Coach K, that would be one. But also, I got to be honest, North Carolina or Kentucky. But dude, being like the #1 guy at Kentucky would be nuts.
Yeah. No.
But are you talking weather, or are you talking just like legendary?
All things, weather, exposure. Because like sometimes you're like, you want to go to a legendary school. You're like, now I play at UNC. Jordan played here. Worthy played here. But also, there's something about like, I'm going to UW. I'm going to put fucking Washington on the map. They've never had anything. Like I take all these things into consideration of like where you are.
You're
weather,
like
campus,
changed
girls.
the University of Montana.
Yeah, like part of it. Yeah, exactly. Part of me is like, I mean, Arizona State, like Tempe. These women are so hot. The area is so beautiful. Do you want to hike? Do you want to whatever? I mean, there's so many things to factor in.
That made me think about Steph Curry, because Steph Curry wanted Duke and they said no. And then when he went to Davidson, they wanted him to transfer. And he goes, "You didn't want me then. You're not getting me now." He goes, "I'm staying with these guys." And his younger brother, actually, Seth, ended up going to Duke, but he stayed at Davidson. Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. You either go someplace that you put on the map, or you just go to a monster and you're like, that's a good, because do you want to play at a school Jordan played at? Because you're always going to be, it's always Jordan and Worthy played there.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to do so much to come close to that.
Right. But Chapel Hill's beautiful. It's a huge arena or dome, whatever the hell, the Dean Dome. It's I never have it. Like sometimes I'm like, maybe Georgia, like they don't have no basketball program or not a famous one, but like Athens is so nice. The weather's so great.
You know who I found out? You know who I found out just went to Georgia was that kid Anthony Edwards.
Oh, is that right?
Anthony Edwards on the Timberwolves,
who's
a fucking monster. Yeah, he went, and I didn't know that either, because it's more of a football school.
Yeah, you never hear about Georgia basketball, or very rarely.
Ryan Seacrest went to Georgia.
Did he?
Ryan Seacrest.
Oh wow!
I'll back out now.
Not a big basketball player.
UT is also a good option. I mean, it's a great
Ryan
campus.
Seacrest played intramurals there.
But yeah, so much of it is. I guess I'm a pervert, but I'm just I think about women, and like UT girls.
Well, did you remember Above the Rim? Remember Above the Rim?
The movie?
Yeah.
I don't really know it that well.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, it's not Above the Rim. He got game. Sorry. He
with
Got
Ray
Game
Allen.
was Ray Allen and
Yeah,
Spike Lee, but like
yeah.
they took him to the campus and it was just like you see him walking the campus and you see them eat in the cafeteria and the next thing you know he's just got a girl's riding him. There's another girl out the door. They basically just sent women to fuck him and then to have the greatest experience. And he's like looking at the weather and he's a kid from Coney Island, but like that's, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot of things to consider.
Was that based on? Can you check if was that based on Stephon Marbury? Because Stephon Marbury was Coney Island, same exact place where that. Yeah, was that based on that? Because they basically take a kid from the city and you go out to UCLA or one of those places and you just get the greatest time ever.
I mean, that's the thing. It's hard to not. These guys that don't fucking lose their minds and go crazy, it's very impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, LeBron James, the fact that he hasn't like done coke and fucking crashed a car and killed somebody is pretty impressive. He's been a celebrity since he was 8.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's pretty good.
Some of those guys also get protected though.
Yeah, I'm
you
sure.
know, some of those guys, like the police will be like, all right, hey dude, get the fuck, we're going to escort you.
What was the name of the movie?
He Got Game.
Stephon Marbury's movie is called My Other Home.
He has
It's
his
about
own
him
movie?
winning the championships for the
In
Beijing
China.
Ducks.
Yeah. No, dude, he's like Jordan in Beijing. He left the Knicks and he had a little mental breakdown.
Oh, it
Remember?
is.
What?
Stephon Marbury is based on He Got Game. He Got Game is based on Stephon Marbury.
Yeah, I knew it.
Wow.
I knew it. So, yeah, because he's just a kid, Coney Island, Brooklyn, and his dad was, his dad, he would shit on his dad and stuff, and he'd be like, you ever like see that? Like when somebody's like, fuck you, you fucking left me, like he's just, and the guy's like, I'm just trying to do the right thing now, but it's like the kid's kind of right,
Yeah, of course.
but you just feel like, you ever have somebody treat you like shit and you still give them respect in a weird way, and then all of a sudden you realize, what am I doing?
Yeah, you're like, I don't care about you.
Like you never cared about me.
Yes, of course. Yeah. You're like, no, never mind.
Imagine the last 5 minutes of this podcast we got so fucking deep. You
just
just broke down, cry. You're
I'm like, no, I hate my father. I just start sobbing. You're like, are you all right?
Joe, we were just talking about basketball.
I just heard a great story. Did you see this thing? It was like a virally thing with Sandler and Brad Pitt. They were like talking on I don't know if it was a podcast or a show.
Yes.
And the story about Adam Sandler's acting coach who told him to quit.
Yes.
Did you see that thing? And then he saw him, he went out, his acting coach took him out for a beer and was like, you got to get out. You're not an actor. You don't have it. You have no range. You suck. Whatever. You should just quit. Stick to comedy. And Sandler was like, okay. And then he bumps into him like 20 years later with his friends, and he walks up to the teacher with all his friends. He's the biggest movie star ever. And he's like, hey, this is the only acting coach that ever bought me a beer.
It's amazing.
I mean, how nice is that? Because in my mind, that's like my biggest fantasy is be like, this fucking piece of shit.
Dude, you know something? Somebody who, it might have been, oh my God, a big comic told me this. Who the fuck was it? They go, you're going to come across somebody that did you wrong and you think you want to do it. And the greatest thing is like when you just don't.
Right.
And I'm going like, I'm Sicilian, dude. I don't know if I have that in me to, yeah, dude, I don't know, man. Like when somebody's bad to me and you wanna fucking do that. But I was actually in Minnesota and I ran into Nick Swartzen.
Yeah.
And he came out there and was talking about Sandler. And he goes, dude, Sandler's like the type of guy where like if somebody's having a fall and you're like, dude, so-and-so's career, what happened? Sandler would be like, man, he'll figure it out. Like he's just that dude that like, Howard Stern always tries to get that drama, right? And when Sandler was on Stern, Howard's like, come on, because Howard's obsessed with SNL. If you noticed, all he does is have the SNL.
Yeah.
All he talks about is SNL.
Yes.
Lauren, Mike, what it's like to be there. And he goes, were you not going to go back and host? Did you like when you went back and host to stick it to him? Did you like when you became a movie star, stick it to him? And Sandler was just like, no, I don't think Sandler's built like that. And I think him not being built like that is why he's successful. I heard Kevin Hart say the same thing. It's like harboring that. It's like he goes, the energy that takes. It's like I could be moving forward, writing a script, getting ready to do something, to be like, that guy did me wrong. It's like, I look back sometimes at when people were like, no, you're not ready for that festival and you're not good enough. And then I kind of see what I'm doing now and I'm like, maybe some of them made a point.
Of course.
Maybe like I would get mad and go, and I'm like, no, man, I wasn't really evolved. I wasn't really me yet on stage. So it's like, no, they had a point. Maybe I wasn't clicking with what I needed. And it's like, sometimes they were probably cunty. And sometimes people, like some of those, I said there's a handful of people that want power over you, but then some of them are probably just like, no, man, you're not ready ready yet, you'll get there, and they're right.
Yeah, no, I remember having
Some
that
of them.
with Uncle Vinny's and being like, I'd opened for DePaulo there a bunch and being like, I'd like to headline, I can headline this room. And they were like, yeah, we don't really think you're strong enough. And I remember being like, these motherfuckers.
Have you been
and
back?
then years later, I mean, I haven't been back, but not because of any
Yeah.
beef. But I look back and I'm like, oh, I totally should not have been headlining there.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like, we know the room, you're funny, but yeah, you can't headline here.
Right.
And I remember like carrying a resentment and so many things like that from me with the industry and just for laughs, all that stuff. And then you look back and you're like, oh, I sucked. I was a drunk idiot that had no chops whatsoever.
Now, the last thing I want to talk about, you're sober now?
Yeah.
For how long?
Long time, 10 and a half years.
Did it change your career? Did it change your life?
Oh, yeah. All my success has come in sobriety.
After.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've noticed that I've been better at everything. Like when I go on those 90-day clean. Now, I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just somebody, you know, Giannis will tell you because we hang a lot. He lives in my neighborhood. He lives on my block, actually.
Wow.
Like when I go, yeah, he would
Should I
visit.
move there?
He would visit from, dude, you should. You would love it, man. He would visit from Brooklyn and he saw the country and he's like, man, it's only like an hour. And he was just like, we have huge land and he loved it. And yeah, dude, if you ever need to look into it, dude, you would fucking, it would change your life, dude.
Didn't
it would change
he move all the way out like near Connecticut?
Yeah, well, we're on the border, but it's only an hour away.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it's like so like I can get to Boston. My brother lives in Boston. I get to Boston in 2.5 hours. I get to Mohegan Sun in 2 hours. I get to New York City in an hour 10. You could get to fucking Rhode Island in 3, dude. It's like you have like where we are. You could be in Connecticut like that. You could be. It's great. But Giannis used to visit. He used to visit from Brooklyn, and he looked at it, and I go, dude, you guys, I never thought he would do it. His wife's from Long Island. Long Island people don't leave. And I never thought they were going to do it. And, like, now, but, like, he'll tell you, like, when I drink, he even said, he'll tell you this. He's like, I've never seen, and I'm not proud of this, but, like, nobody will drink longer than me. I will be up. Nobody will drink longer than me.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, they were like the only person maybe that will drink more and stay awake is Gillis. But like I will drink until 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm talking bottles of Lagavulin, bottles of wine. I'm the type, I just don't stop. And the thing with me is I don't get sloppy. What'll happen is when I'm done,
Yeah.
I'll fall asleep.
Right.
But I don't get mean. I don't fucking stagger. One thing that I don't do that's not good is I don't puke, and I wish I did because I take the pain for 2-3 days afterwards.
Right.
But I'm the type of drinker that I just don't want the party to end, but I never do it working. I never do it before shows. But like if you came up, let's just say like you came up.
Yeah.
And you and Giannis hung out for a night, and we made a bonfire in my backyard. We're smoking sticks and we're drinking. You'll have to be like like what are you doing? Like you'll be like, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, everybody's sleeping. What are you doing?
I love it.
And but I never ever let it affect me. But when I do go 90 days without that, and I would only do that if I wasn't working the next 2 days.
Sure.
But if I go like 3 months without it, I'm just like, oh my God, I'm better at everything in life. I'm a better father. I'm more present.
Yeah. And there's more studies now, but it's actually physically horrible for you. I keep
man.
reading these things that it's like as bad as smoking alcohol. It's just fucking really damaging.
It like kills your insides, dude.
Yes.
It's like fucking horrible. And like some of the people that do it all the time and need it.
Yeah.
I just saw this thing on this do you see this thing on this Japanese woman? She has type in Japanese woman has 30 alcoholic beverages. Dude, she's this little petite Japanese woman. Little petite pretty. And the first thing she did, I read it, I saw it today, it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. She, Christina P. might have had it on her thing. The first thing she does when she wakes up, dude, she's like this petite brunette, and she just pours a giant beer, and she slugs it. And then as she's getting dressed, she drinks another one. Then she goes to this famous bar that has like an outdoor view, and she just drinks all day at it. And they say that her tolerance is so high that she doesn't feel alcohol until her 7th or 8th drink.
Oh my
And she
God.
does 30 a day throughout, and it's like her hobby and what she likes to do. And she's like this little bit.
She's not fat?
What? No.
What does she do? Does she not eat? Does she throw up?
Yeah, I gotta send it to you, dude. It was the funniest thing, and she has like this like woman like girly room. She's like brushing her hair, she's slugging a beer, dude. It's fucking like it's not like a chick with like tattoos and cigarette butts everywhere.
Right.
It's the weirdest.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you see anything, Mike, or no? Oh, dude, I'll send it to you, dude. I saw it, and it was just like,
wow.
But her tolerance is so built up that it's like for her, like it's just part of her day.
That's impressive. I mean, all this talk makes me like, oh, maybe we should go have some cocktails. I want to come up. Maybe I'll move up there.
See, I can't go as fast as everybody, but I will consistently drink until if I want to. But I'm not doing that anymore.
Right. Blood pressure.
But I'm glad you're sober now, dude.
Yeah, no, I feel good.
I'm still going nuts because I can't remember what we're talking about the Counting Crows and the fucking an audience, when the audience knows something, and I thought about the stupid two people, but I was gonna say something else. But anyway,
it'll come to you on the drive home.
Dude, isn't that the worst?
It is, yeah. And then you call, and then the other people you were with never care as much as you do. You're like, dude, it was fucking Greenwich Village. And they're like, what? And you're like, remember the thing? I couldn't think of the thing. And you're like, oh, yeah, I guess.
That happened with Bobby the other day. I kept saying, I was trying to figure a figure of speech, but I kept saying freedom of speech. And I go, no, dude, hold on. What's the thing when it's just a saying? It's something of speech. And Bobby's going, freedom, dude, freedom. And I'm going, no, what is it? What is it? And then finally at the end of the conversation, I go, figure. And he hung up. Joe List. Go check out Enough for Everybody.
Enough for Everybody on YouTube right now.
Enough for Everybody on YouTube. Always funny, always great. You plug anything else, dates?
That's the special. There's another one called This Year's Material, another one called I Hate Myself. There's 3 of them on YouTube. And where the hell am I? September, I'm in Nashville, Zany's Nashville. I forget the dates, 22nd, 21st, something like that. And comedianjoelist.com.
Tuesdays with Stories, too.
Tuesdays with Stories with Mark Norman. I have a new podcast, an old new podcast called Mindful Metal Jacket. That's actually like 5 years old, but I just brought it back.
Nice. Guys, I will be in San Diego. I'm going on vacation for a while, and then I'm coming back. But I'll be in San Diego, the American Comedy Company. I'll be there October 6th and 7th. I'll be at Helium Comedy Club in Philadelphia the 20th and 21st of October. And I have more dates coming. We're going to Albany. We're going to Hartford. And I think I'm going to Vegas, too. So all those dates, paulvirzi.com. Check out Bone to Pick with Bobby Kelly. Anything Better with Burr. Me and Burr are going to be doing our BetMGM football picks starting week 1. So watch that because we had a great time the last couple of years doing that. Nocturnal Admissions is streaming on Netflix. Thank you guys for all of the views on the last clips. The last couple clips went viral. So thank you so much. And that's it. Check out my YouTube channel. Check out Joe List. And I will see you guys next week.